Alright guys, Hazing here, welcome back to the channel for another Cyber Rebellion video. I was about to say Street Fighter Duel video because I'm so used to doing those only, but this is not a Street Fighter Duel video. So in the last video we were talking about team synergy and experimentations and how you can get more out of your squad by trying to do different things within the game. There is another system that actually will do a lot to get you a lot of power, a lot of additional things, beat more stages, but it's also a mode or a system that, again, kind of like before, encourages a degree of experimentation, which is really good if you're someone who likes to try different things within these games. So what I'm talking about is this, okay? It's modules. Now, how modules work is they are basically things that you unlock that you can kind of call them additional passives, I guess. I mean, if we look here, you can see this module, damage to targets with burning, electric shock, bleeding or broken armour plus 10%. So what have I done? I've put this onto a burn unit because it's going to give her an additional 10% damage. Now, as you can see, that is actually not her own status. That belongs to a completely different unit, but that doesn't matter. You can apply it to another unit within your squad, okay? This can be good because what this can do, and we'll look at it in just a minute, is this can enable you to use two completely separate passive boost type things and get massive gains, okay? Now, I just want to show you something as well. This is quite important. Even units who are not necessarily the best units or regarded as the best units, if you keep pulling dupes of them, don't feel despair, because if we look here, for example, you can see this unit here, who is not necessarily the greatest of units. He does, however, as you level him up, gain this passive ability. At the start of battle, during normal actions, gain a shield equal to 150% of attack for 2 turns. We look down further, that goes all the way up to 225% of attack. That is good. That is very, very good. He might not be good, but if you keep getting hit with dupes of him, you can take this, put it onto a more worthy unit, and this unit has actually still shown his worth to you. So I know some people, shout out to Buddha, my friend, he keeps pulling this guy and he's extremely upset about it, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. This is actually really massive and it can really push how much content you're able to beat in game. So it is worth it, guys. If you've got units who have lots of shards and you've not really bothered to use those shards, you should look at what they get, because these nodes can really ramp up your gameplay and really help you out when it comes to beating additional content. Now, I mentioned experimentation. I'll show you what I'm talking about, right? So I'm going to use this as an example. Now, this so far is my favourite. Now, if I get to a point where I've got 4 stars on my Eric, or possibly on another one of my units, I will take this and I'll put it onto them. But for now, it's on this unit. Is it the best thing to be on this unit? Probably not, but she's the only one in my squad right now who I can do this with. And it feels like a waste to not do it. So at the top you'll see I've got 2 nodes active, right? The first node, for the first 3 turns of battle, each turn sacrifice 10% of your current HP. And in exchange, you will gain 11% crit that will last until the end of battle. So within 3 turns, you will have to sacrifice 30% of your HP. But in return, you will get 33% additional crit. Now obviously, if you're playing hard content and you're getting hit pretty hard, that loss of HP could really cost you to suffer. But 11% additional crit is absolutely fantastic. So I equipped her with this. During the battle, HP recovery effect 12%. So after each turn, she gains 12% HP. Which means that 11% per turn crit boost becomes free, because she's gaining more HP than she is sacrificing. So I'm basically just getting 33% additional crit for this unit with no downside. That is what I mean. You can use these nodes to essentially create new nodes. I guess that's the best way to call it. Because doing this combo, I no longer have to worry about that sacrifice. I no longer have to worry about the fact that I could potentially be putting this unit at risk. I can just take the additional crit. Now you can obviously see there why I want to put that onto a unit like Eric, who hits like an absolute monster, but right now I can't do it. But by doing an experiment here using this unit, I was able to see that it is a viable thing to do, and I know that when it comes to being able to put it onto the type of unit I want to, this is going to be absolutely solid for me moving forward. Now, if you go through all of these, you can see there's going to be various things that will work better for some units than they will for others, right? So for example, if we go down here, when present, the bleeding damage received by an enemy unit is increased by 15%. Now that's very good, but if you've got no bleed units on your team, there's no point in using that, right? So you've got to use your own brain sometimes and think logically what's going to do the best for me. Again, this is pretty solid. When HP is above 80%, damage plus 18%. Now, that one again is pretty good to potentially pair with something like this, because if you've got something like that constantly topping up your HP, then there's a good chance that for a lot of the time you may well be above 80% HP, even if you're taking hits, and then you're going to trigger this additional damage plus 18%. So like I'm saying, if you play about with things, you can actually get yourself a lot more mileage out of your units, do a lot more damage with your units, and beat content that is potentially been posing a challenge to you all this time. Now again, if you go through these yourself, you'll see that some of them are absolutely solid, right? You cannot pair up two that are the same. So you can see here, Penalty Area King, I've got purple version, 5 stars or 4 stars, whatever, but I've also got this version as well. I can't use both of them, so I can't stack this 8% on top of this 12% to get 20. You can't do that. It would be cool if you could, but you can't, right? So just bear that in mind when you're looking through these. But again, as you can see, there's lots and lots of different things that you can use, like this one here. Again, skill attack damage to targets with HP below 50%, plus 16. Why am I using that on Eric? Well, Eric has got a passive that if he hits, if there's a unit on the field that has either bleed or broken armour and they're below 50% HP, he will trigger a reduced version of his ult. But this will cause the damage to be higher. It's things like that. It's just little things that can really push how much damage you're doing to units, how much further you can take your squads without levels, without additional stars. This game will actually give you the tools and it will reward you for experimenting. And guys, honestly, look through your squads. You probably have units who you don't think much of, but you might be just a couple of shards away from unlocking their next star up, you know? And that's the type of thing, this probably wasn't the best example, but that's the type of thing that could really boost your squad to the next level and help you beat those stages that are causing you difficulties. Again, use these things on key units that do specific things and you will see your progress skyrocket. Honestly, do not underestimate this mode or this system. It is invaluable to your progress. And again, you can use those units who you maybe class as duds to help take you to that next level. Anyway guys, I hope this can help a little bit when it comes to thinking about your team builds, thinking about how to push that little bit more damage from your units. I've been Hazink. If you're new, sub to the channel would be lovely. Like the video, comment, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.